During this pandemic, the impact of social distancing and stress have certainly taken a toll on many people's mental health. A recent Gallup poll shows Americans' mental health is worse than at any point in the last 2 decades. We all get that. Psychologist and CBS News contributor, that's Lisa Damour, joins us with how to better focus on our well-being and staying positive in 2021. Lisa, it's really good to see you. You know, we're talking a lot about polls today, and one of the latest shows that many Americans are just struggling to survive day to day. So how in the world do we concentrate on self-care when we're just trying to live?
You know, it is hard, and Happy New Year to all of you. What we want to do as an important New Year's resolution is to commit to excellent self-care. And we have to recommit to this. And by excellent self-care, we mean getting a good night's sleep, getting plenty of physical activity, eating well, finding happy distractions. And doing this goes a long way to buffer the stress of the pandemic. The challenge, of course, is the pandemic is going on so long that we can get kind of lazy about this. You know, it's easier to get in bed and just scroll on your phone than to have a disciplined routine that helps you fall asleep quickly at night. But the way I have come to think about it, it's like the pandemic is a really long rainstorm, and excellent self-care, it's like our rain gear. It helps to protect us from the pandemic. So getting out your umbrella, putting on your raincoat, putting on your rain boots, it doesn't stop the rain, but it makes the storm easier to weather. And that's how we want to think about self-care now.
Yeah, listen, it's a new year, but this pandemic is still very much alive and well, so to speak. You say that we should avoid an all or nothing way of thinking. What does that mean?
So when we feel helpless about so many things in our lives, it's easy to start to feel helpless about everything. To start to feel like, oh, if I can't have this go the way I want it to go, it just can't happen. So that's all or nothing thinking, and we want to steer clear of that. Instead, what we want to do is to think about what we can make happen. So we can't celebrate birthdays in the ways that we like to, but we can still make them a special day. You know, we can't see people in the same ways we want to, but we can still stay meaningfully connected. And it's important for us to acknowledge what has been disrupted, to let ourselves be sad and frustrated about that, to do that work of kind of coming to terms of what we've had to give up. And when we do that work, it actually creates space. It sort of sets the stage for us to be open to what can happen. It lets us be creative. I think the way we should think about it is it might not be great, but it can be good enough.
You also say it's important to accept the reality that some things are just beyond our control. How do we do that, and why is that so very important to do?
It's hugely important, especially in the pandemic, for us to really take account of what are the things in our control, maybe at work or at home or in terms of our own self-care, and what are the things that are beyond our control. You know, how long the pandemic's going to last, you know, what the summer's going to look like. And the way we can actually size this up is to just think about the fact that we want to preserve our energy. The pandemic is stressful. The pandemic is tiring. We are going to be better off on so many fronts, mental health included, mental health probably especially, if we point our energy at the things where we really have say, where we can really make a difference, and don't put too much energy into worrying about or thinking about things where we really don't have control.
Also, I like the practice of expressing gratitude. I know that that really helps and makes a difference. I always think it's better to focus on what you do have rather than what you don't. Can you just give people a sentence on why we need to do that on a regular basis?
Absolutely. Having a gratitude practice, thinking about what you're grateful for, is one of the simplest and most effective ways we know in psychological research to increase well-being and life satisfaction. It is worth taking the time to focus on what you've got.
All right. I wake up every day and say, breathing. That's gratitude number one. Thank you, Lisa Damour. Happy New Year to you. Anthony?
Thanks, Gail and Lisa. I always feel calmer after hearing from Lisa.